I'm Melech Michaels, and I'm going to show you how to attach the kesher onto the bayis so it's not loose like this one is. And you can see when I go like that there's not enough tension there, and it's keeping the kesher from being snug against the bayis like the way we want it. Although it is touching, it moves away. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that space. And take the old gid off, and we're going to L'Shem Kedushas tefillin, pull this through a little bit.
Pull what through?
Pull the end of the yud from the kesher through because it was getting a little sloppy there. And I'm flattening it down. And now I'm just going to cut off the end here because that's a little bit too long to be a yud. Okay, now I'm going to take my gid. You could use other strings besides gidim, but gidim is traditionally what's used. And I'm going to double over a piece about 8 inches long. I want to have a little bit extra should I need it. And I'm going to take a plastic needle because it's got a...
Put it through, it's folded over.
I'm putting it through folded over. I'm using a plastic needle because it's got a duller tip to it. And when I go through the ma'avarta with it, now I don't want to cut the ritzua. You must start on this side. You go through this way, and you come out like this. Now, at this point, there's 2 ways that we could do it. We could go like this, tie it like this, where the part that's coming out of the left side of the ma'avarta, or the side without the knot, is going up, and the part that's coming out of the side with the knot is going underneath the kesher and then coming out on top. The problem is if we do it like this, that when we're done, it's going to look like this. It's going to be very high up. The gid is going to be riding very high up, and the plastic box that you keep your tefillin in is going to get cut by them. So we always do it the other way, where the part that comes out of the ma'avarta, the side of the ma'avarta without the knot, is going to go under. It's going to go under the knot, and then it's going to come up over here, and the side that's by the kesher is going to come straight up and meet it around. Now I'm pulling out a little, I'm adding a little bit of length to the gid by pulling it out because I see I need a little bit more. I'm just sort of manipulating it to get it a little bit longer. Now I have enough room to work with my fingers. Now, in order to get it really tight, I'm going to actually bend it back into the wrong position so that when I tighten it up and then move it into the correct position, it's going to be really tight. Now, if I would make it...
No regular knot.
I'm making one regular knot right over here. If I would make it too tight at this point, when I pull it into the regular position, it will probably break. So I'm doing this with a little bit of caution. So I'm going to make another knot on top of that. Not too hard, just hard enough that it'll hold it, but that maybe it'll slip a little bit so that I can pull it into the right position without breaking it. So you see it's got a pretty good amount of tension on there as I'm sliding it back into place. See, now it's very flat. It's very flat down over here, and the kesher is very tight against the bayis, just the way I want it. The only thing is, it's also not nearly tight enough to really hold it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 pliers. I like to use Klein's electrician's pliers because they work really well. And I'm going to tighten up all the ends of the knot by pulling on each one individually. 4 sides, 4 strings coming out. And it's got a pretty good amount of tension now, so I'm not going to go too hard because I don't want to break it. And they will break if you pull too hard. Now I'm going to make a couple more loops over it. And the reason I'm doing this is both so that it doesn't slip, and it broke a little bit, but it broke at a point where I can still use this even though it broke, because I've already got enough knots that it's not going to slip too much. And in addition to making several knots, I'm also, in order to keep it tight, I'm also doing it so that the surface area of the knot is big enough that I can put a drop of super glue on it, so that the super glue will really lock everything together. So now I'm just going to do a little bit more pulling everything tight from all four sides, being especially careful on this one because it's really thin, this one strand right here. Okay, now I'm going to take my super glue. I'm using Gorilla Glue right now, and I'm going to try to get one drop right into the spot that the knot is on, and to not get any of it on the Ritsuos. So I'm going to squeeze it out until I see it coming out. And I've got a magnifying glass in my hand so that I can really get in there. Okay, let's get in there with the camera so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to put a drop of glue right there. I pull it away quickly so that no little strings of glue get there. Now I need to just find any little object here, even the old gid will be fine, to just move the glue into as many different spots on the surface of the knot as I can. Being very careful to keep it off the Ritsuos, and I can tell that I got nothing on the Ritsuos this time. Sometimes you get a little drop in the Ritsuos and you stick your fingernail in there and remove it. Okay, now I'm going to take super glue accelerator. There's different types of super glue accelerator. They're going to make I'm just going to put a little piece of paper here. They're going to make the super glue dry instantly. I'm putting the paper there so that it doesn't make the paint on the batim melt, which it will do for a few seconds. And even though if you don't touch it, you won't have any problem, it's better to not do that. It will re-dry momentarily. Now I'm just going to cut the edges off so it's nice and neat looking. And here we are. It's nice and tight, not too tight, but just perfect. Thank you, David Brown, for letting me use your tone for my video.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Melt Mike.